Now news coming in from Delhi at the IGI airport. A flyer was assaulted by a pilot, an off-duty pilot. And now finally, the passenger, Ankit Dewan, is narrating his entire ordeal. How he was attacked, how his children witnessed it, how his daughter was traumatized, and how his wife was also traumatized, and how the airport authorities failed him completely. And joining us live now is India Today's Amit Bharadwaj. Amit, now Ankit, the passenger who was assaulted, has given a timeline as to what happened. Sequentially, he explains. He even tells how he was denied first aid because he could not go past the security area. Can you tell us what happened?
Anjali, there are a couple of more serious questions beyond that incident. You know, the incident happened, the visuals are there. There are more questions as to whether some restraint was being carried out by the security forces deployed on the ground or not. When this verbal spat escalated into a physical attack on Ankit Dewan by this Air India Express pilot who has now been suspended or de-rostered in a way. But the very serious questions are that Ankit Dewan goes on to claim that 15 minutes there was nobody to bring him the first aid kit. When finally the person arrived, he was not with any of the medical assistance kit or the first aid kit. It took 45 minutes for him to actually get the first aid kit by any of the personnel deployed at the airport. So that is a big question. We did check with Delhi airport authorities. They said that they are investigating the matter as to what transpired, why it took so much of time to respond to the situation, and whether there was any loopholes within the system as well. That's what I've been given to understand through my sources within Delhi Airport Authority. Now, moving forward, there is an even more serious question, Anjali. You know, this assault happened. Obviously, the CISF was the first responder on the ground because it's IGI airport. But the legal action has to be taken by Delhi police. Now, Ankit Dewan is claiming that he was made to write a submission that he will not take any further legal action against the accused pilot. He was given a choice either to board the flight or to go ahead with this legal, submission and legal process. And without writing that submission, he wasn't in a position to board the flight. These are very serious claims that are being made by Ankit Dewan, and the Delhi police need to respond to this particular question, whether the option of filing the FIR or the legal procedure could have been carried out by Ankit Dewan a couple of days later or through some digital means or not, because now we have come to an age where digitally submitting a complaint is also a possibility. India today has reached out to Delhi police, the concerned police authority in this particular context. We are yet to receive a communication from their side, a response from their side, and the allegations that have been labelled by Ankit Dewan, the person who was assaulted at Delhi Airport's Terminal 1, is pretty much serious, not only against the accused in the case, but also the way system responded to the entire situation. Back to you.
Right, absolutely. Thank you very much, Amit, for those details. So clearly, it needs to be checked out how much of legality does that submission really have. So there was a big shocker clearly from the Delhi airport. A SpiceJet passenger has accused an Air India Express pilot of physically assaulting him during a dispute at the Indira Gandhi International Airport. According to the flyer, Ankit Dewan, the incident occurred when he was traveling with his family, including a 4-month-old baby in a stroller. Dewan claimed airport staff guided his family to use the staff and PRM security check due to the infant. According to Dewan, some staff members began cutting the queue ahead of him. When he objected, he alleged that a pilot identified as Captain Virender, who was also using the same entry, questioned his literacy and asked if he could not read signs indicating the entry was meant for staff. The exchange between the passenger and the pilot soon escalated into a verbal altercation. Dewan further alleged that the pilot then physically assaulted him, leaving him injured and bleeding. The airline has acknowledged the incident and suspended the pilot. The probe has also been ordered. There can be no justification to the assault and the thug pilot should be arrested. So clearly it seems that the authorities over there, the security officials as well, did not handle the incident properly, and that is why we see these visuals coming in where the passenger seems to be consoling his daughter, who is clearly traumatized after this incident happened in the Delhi airport. Now the question is, what is that submission that the authorities made Dewan file? And Ankit Dewan is claiming that he was told that you have a choice between taking legal action or catching your flight. Now let's try and understand what really happened. There is a clear timeline of what happened, and we'll try and explain to you. Now, the flyer was traveling with his wife, his entire family, in fact, his wife, a 7-year-old daughter, and a 4-month-old baby. And this is the reason why the flyer was asked to use the staff security check queue. That entry has less people and it's easier for people who require assistance to go through. Now, the flyer says that he called out a staff member for cutting the queue ahead of him. Although the entry is meant for staff members, but it seems that the passenger objected to it. Now, at that point of time, this pilot said to the flyer, "Are you uneducated? This entry is for the staff members. Can you not read?" And that led to a verbal scuffle between the pilot and that passenger. Well, it was still okay till there. There was a verbal fight between the two. It could have been sorted out by the security present over there, but it did not end there. The Air India Express pilot physically assaulted the passenger. That's where things went out of control. And what was the security personnel doing over there? That is a question we need to ask. The accused pilot finally has now been grounded and a probe has been initiated against him to find out what really happened. Now, the airline for which she works, the Air India Express, has said that a disciplinary action will be taken after the probe, after the result of the probe. But right now, he's been taken off his duties. So this is what happened and this is the entire sequence.